Hi. How's everybody doing? It's Friday. Hooray. Hello to all of my YouTube people who are bright and shiny and early. I love it. I just want to squeeze you all. I love it so much that I have the opportunity to be able to stream to YouTube just like I do to Facebook. I think it's amazing. So I'm so glad you guys are there. I love it. Hi, Karen. Hi, Colleen. Big hugs to you. Regina's here. So good to see you guys. So good indeed, because it's Friday. It's Friday. What's not good about Fridays, right? Except for the fact that it means that we're this much closer to the weekend actually being over. But I try not to think about that part too much. I try not to. Stop squeaking your ball. Come on. There's my Facebook people, Janelda, Diane, Ruth, and Marie. It's so good to see everybody. Oh, so how's everybody's week been? Have you guys had a good week so far? I've had a pretty good week. I've gotten a lot of things accomplished, and I feel like I'm ready to go ahead and get a jump start on next week because I've got a lot of things going on next week. So I really need to like be ahead of the week and make my kits and maker mixes as early as possible. So I'm already thinking about that, which I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, but it pretty much means that's what I'll be thinking about all weekend. That's why I say I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing or not, but so good to see you guys. So yeah, I've got some fun stuff, you guys. I've got some fun stuff because it's Feel Good Friday. Feel Good Friday is all about instant gratification, easy to recreate jewelry. And of course, you can grab all of the items that you need to create these pieces in my Etsy shop. And there are 3 new maker mixes as well. Can't wait to show those to you guys. I do want to get out the calendar though and take a little look here at what we've got going on and what's coming up. Fridays is always a good time to kind of take a look at what we have. Whoa, sorry, make you seasick there. It's always a good idea to just take a look because I have a tendency to forget about things. So I'm going to pull the calendar out. So the first thing that's coming up, you guys, is tomorrow, right? Gosh, I can't believe Saturday is already here. Tomorrow, Saturday, I have a Michael's class at 1 p.m. We are putting together a friendship bracelet. Guys, for those of you who really enjoy fabric jewelry or you like lightweight jewelry, you like friendship bracelets, that's what we're doing, actually. We're putting together a friendship bracelet on the jewel loom. And we're actually using, we're not using any beads at all, though you can put beads on this design if you wanted to, or in this design. But we are doing a strictly fabric design. I'm going to show you how to weave your ends in so you don't see them. It's going to be really, really cool. So if you want to come and hang out tomorrow, that's what our class for the Michael's YouTube and Zoom class are going to be. Next week, I also have a Michael's class in the middle of the week. That's on Wednesday. And I don't remember what that project is, but it's a cool one. All of my Michael's classes are within the first 3 weeks because that 4th week, of course, we have the Thanksgiving holidays. And just a reminder for you guys about that. The week of Thanksgiving, there will not be a Feel Good Friday live that week. I don't know about the rest of the week. I'm going to have to work that out. And of course, when we get closer to that, I'll let you know. Other than that, though, I think that's the only thing we've got coming up other than the one thing everybody has been asking me about. And that is on the 18th, I will be putting, well, not me, but there will be a live that includes me, Nile, and Sam all in the same live. We're not really doing a project. We're just going to be chit-chatting and doing beady goodness. So if you've got questions, if you want to make it like a question and answer session, we can definitely do that because Sam and I did that once before. We're going to have Nile with us for it. And of course, I'll put reminders up so you guys won't forget about that. But that is on November 18th. Okay, so not only will it be just me and Sam, but it'll be me and Sam and Nile. It's going to be so much fun. So don't want to miss out on that. Okay. All right. That being said, guys, just remember that because the holidays are coming up, you guys know that, that Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, and New Year's, it tends to crowd our calendars out, right? So there's a ton of things going on. And so I just ask that you all will be flexible and understanding with me. And of course, the other designers out there, because our live schedules have a tendency to fluctuate around those times. But we always like to give you a heads up in advance before we make any big schedule changes. Okay. All right. So now that it looks like most everybody is here, we are going to be talking about our Feel Good Friday stuff. So I've got 3 maker mixes to show you guys. I want to kind of put like a disclaimer on this live and the lives going forward. Okay. People have been asking about holiday stuff. They've been asking about Christmas. They've been asking about Hanukkah. They've been asking about the holidays in general. And I don't want to be one of those people who crams the holidays down your throat. However, as jewelry makers, we have to remember that when it comes to creating jewelry and creating jewelry that is holiday themed or Christmas themed, right? We got to be ahead of the game, because you want to be able to give your customer enough time to wear that jewelry so that they don't get it on Christmas and they're like, well, I can't wear this until next year. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, I do have some holiday pieces included in today's show, and I will going forward, but I am going to try to make it an even mix so that, again, I'm not cramming the holidays down your throat or forcing the holidays on you any faster than the rest of the world, right? Okay. So that being said, one of the maker mixes is a Christmas mix. So I'm going to show you the 3 maker mixes. We're going to put together some jewelry and we're going to have some fun. Let's do it. I feel like I'm forgetting to tell you guys something, but I can't remember exactly what it is. So we're just going to keep going, right? All right. So let's get started here. Let's take a look at the maker mixes. Guys, don't forget that we have a maker mix challenge, if you will, once a month. And you take your maker mixes that you buy from the shop, you create a piece of jewelry, you make sure that you post those on the business page or within the Facebook group, and you are entered to win a drawing for something fun. So these maker mixes are no different. Okay. All right. I'm going to save the Christmas one till the end. Okay. So we're going to start with the first one. This one is called Grecian Seaside, or no, not Seaside, Sidewalk. And this is just one of the new maker mixes that's in the shop. I love this one because it is really heavy on the check glass beads. So there are these check glass Greek key beads. There are 4 of those. There are some table cut check glass. There are these frosted oval check glass. There are some round druck beads that have that nice kind of blue, green, and that golden brown in them. They're absolutely beautiful. Another table cut check glass bead in that same kind of soft blue. And then 2 great big moonstone beads, guys. Big moonstone rounds. And then some little faceted rondelles that go with them that also have that kind of moonstone feel to them. So this one is the Grecian Sidewalk Maker Mix. Just one of 3. All right. So there's that one. I'm going to show you the next one. This one is called Fairy Garden. And I don't like pink, but you guys, I am so in love with this maker mix. It just came together so beautifully. And I don't know that it's going to come across on camera nearly as beautiful as it is in person. So it has a specialty lampwork bead. There is one of the awesome flower beads that comes from Danielle Wicks. And I've got more flowers today to show you guys. These pink beads, these pink facets are faceted and they have that copper flash to them. They're so pretty. There are some check glass pearls here in a kind of a cool shape, some faceted rounds, some pink pink quartz, and some vintage check glass drops. It's just a really, really pretty color combination. And I can be completely honest with you in telling you that this doesn't come across on camera nearly as pretty and vibrant and just wonderful as it is in person. It really is gorgeous. And there was no good way to capture this on camera to show you. You just have to see it in person. So if you like pinks and coppers, this is a really beautiful mix in person. All right, the last one is our Christmas, the very first of our Christmas maker mixes. This one's called Season's Greetings. It also is heavy on the check glass, but it has these amazing lampwork beads that look like candy. Are those not fun? There are some melon check glass in this oval shape, another check glass table cut with the flower in the center, which I thought kind of looked like a snowflake, so that's why I included it. And of course, you've got your classic red and green and white for the holidays. We got a grumpy face already. Somebody must just really hate the holidays, or they hate maker mixes. I don't know. But whoever is grumpy, I'm sending you a big hug, because there's no reason to be grumpy on Fridays, right? No reason at all. All right, so we're moving on. Don't forget, you can grab your maker mixes, recreate or not recreate, but make a piece of jewelry, post it, and you're entered to win. All right, so I've got 5 kits for you, but I'm only going to show you 4 of them. Okay. But because there are 5, that means 1 of them is a remake from last week, just in a, right? Nicole says Grumpy Face needs a Snickers bar. I've got a whole bag of them if you want one, and I am so happy to share. But anyway, this is a restock from last week, but in a different color. These sold out super quick last week, so I thought I would make them again in blue. So last week it was pink and black. This week it is blue and, like, I don't even know, just kind of beachy, sandy coppers and golds and silvers here. So this is, we're not going to remake this one. So if you want to see how we put this one together, you'll have to rewatch last week's video or replay of last week. So yeah, this one, it's got 2 specialty lampwork beads in it. So there's this one and then this one right here. There are the rhinestone spacers, the blue faceted glass, of course, these gorgeous blue flower beads that came from Danielle Wicks. Guys, go check out her shop. She is incredible, and she has some amazing beads in her shop. She's just such a great designer in person in general. We've got our beautiful clasp here, and then our little butterfly check glass and a leaf check glass. There are some check glass bicones in here. So this is a combination of Danielle Wicks beads. This is a combination of Sam's Bead Shop beads and just some beautiful facets. So just a really, really pretty, just a straight stringing project. There was very little wire wrapping involved. And that was just for the little dangles to add. But these sold out almost immediately last week. So I wanted to recreate them in blue because everybody loves blue. So these are in the shop. Okay. All right. Marianne says, I'll be grumpy if it gets me a Snickers bar. Well, yeah. Me too, right? Somebody's going to hand out free candy for a grumpy face. I'm all about it. Okay. So I've got, let's see, 4 pairs of earrings. So today's show, aside from the bracelet that we just did, the 4 pairs or the 4 kits are all earrings. Okay. And 2 of them are super simple. So we're going to start with those because easy is always a fan favorite. Look at the little angels. Aren't they cute? Yes, I have to go 3 octaves higher when I talk about them because they're just so darn cute. So the holidays, a lot of times you see these little earring designs where you stack things up and you make an angel or you make a snowman or a nutcracker or, a Christmas tree. I love the angels. I think that they are super cute. And part of the reason that I like them is because you can wear an angel all year long, right? You don't have to just stick to Christmas. And that's why I went with pink, because I was like, this is non-traditional Christmas color and you can wear these all year. You could even wear these at Valentine's Day and you could call it a Cupid because a Cupid's an angel, right? Or a cherub at least. So we're going to put these together super quick and easy. Check glass table cut hearts. We've got the wings. We've got our faceted rondelles and we've got our little halos. So we're going to put these together quick and easy. It's just a stack them up project. And I love stack projects. So we're going to take our heart. We're going to turn it upside down. We're going to slide that down onto a head pin. The next thing we're going to add is our wings. Now, some people like to turn their wings the other direction, and you totally can. Okay. You can put the wings up, which is the way I like them, but some people like to put them down. And I think part of the reason that people like to put them down is because they are less likely to get caught in your hair if you put them down. Okay. So just, there's no right or wrong with these. Okay, so I'm going to do up because I think they're fun. I'm going to thread on one of these beautiful AB faceted glass beads. The next thing I'm going to thread on is a little tiny pink faceted glass bead. Now the halo, we're going to thread that on, but we're going to thread it on last because we can actually do the wrapped loop and then add it. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to come in with our pliers and we're going to do a wrapped loop. So I'm just going to grab the wire right where it is exiting our bead. I'm going to give the wire a bend right over the top of the pliers so that we have that room to make our wire wraps. We're going to come in with our round nose pliers now, and we're going to take the wire up and over the top barrel of the pliers. Okay, we're going to rotate those pliers to get them out of the way so that we can take that wire over to the other side, and that's going to close up our loop. And we still have that space between the loop and the top of the bead to create our wire wraps. So we're going to wire wrap in that space. You guys, the goal for my weekend is to put this bead mat in the washing machine. I am so embarrassed with how dirty and grungy it is. Every time I look at it, I'm like, gosh, I'm supposed to be a professional. Look at my bead mat. All right, so I have wrapped around. I didn't even have any left over to trim off. I just tucked it all in and around. You can do that with your chain nose pliers. Make sure there's nothing that's sticking out. So that's ready to go, but she needs her halo. So we can just drop that down, and it's going to sit right there between the two faceted beads. Now, once you put your ear wire on, the halo stays, right? You don't have to worry that it's going to fall off. At this point, it can, but once we get that ear wire on, it's there for good. So I'm just going to use my pliers to open up ear wire and close that back, and that's it. Look how pretty they are. I love them. They're so simple, but so cute. I love taking beads and turning them into things, right? Not just beautiful designs, but actual things. And those hearts are the perfect little, like, it's like a full skirt, right? Or robe, or I don't know, whatever. They're just super cute. You can't go wrong with an angel. So there you go. If you need a little angel in your life, or somebody you need to give a really cute gift to somebody, that's that. All right, I'm going to sit those to the side. Okay, we're going to go on to the next pair of super, super easy earrings. Now, this is another one that features some of the fabulous designs or the fabulous beads from Danielle Wicks. Again, super easy. Okay, so festive green and red for the holidays, and it is backwards, which I think makes these really super cool, right? You would expect the flower to be red and the leaf to be green, but these are inverted as far as the colors are concerned. And I think that makes them super, super cool. So we're going to put these together. Another just really fun kind of stacking project, super easy to put together. Okay, so we've got our two beads, we've got an ear wire, and we've got ourselves a piece of wire. So we're going to take our wire and we are going to wire wrap our leaf. We're going to thread that wire through there. Okay. And we're going to crisscross our wires over the top. So we're treating this like a briolette or any bead that's drilled through the front where you need to wire wrap. Crisscrossing to create ourselves a little triangle. I'm going to take one of those wires and bend it straight up and down. And I'm going to take the other wire and bend it outwards. We're going to use this wire to wrap around that straight wire. And I want to wrap mine kind of like in a little platform, but you can do just a regular wire wrap if you want to. I am going to use my bent chain nose pliers to hold onto the wire and keep everything in shape. So I'm going to just wrap around. Now, I'll show you from the top. When I do like a little platform wrap, I kind of wrap outwards and down instead of up. You see what I mean? So it just makes like a little, and you can even come in with your pliers and like squish it to flatten it out a little bit, right? And then you just come in with your cutter tool and trim off. Now you can wrap however you want to. Sometimes I just like to switch it up a little bit because I do those regular wire wraps all day, every day. So every once in a while, I'm like, okay, I'm going to change it up just a little. It also kind of makes like a nice little space for your bead to sit on. So the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to slide that green flower right down on top. And you can see how it sits. So it sort of makes the wire wrap like a little spacer bead or like a bead cap, right? Depending on how you're looking at it. But now we're just going to do a wrapped loop at the top of the bead, and we are going to add an ear wire. And these are super simple, super easy, but a great instant gratification jewelry if you need a holiday piece or something quick or you want to give a gift, right? These you can put together super fast and you've got them ready to wear immediately, right? I'm one of those who always needs like last minute gifts. And this is a perfect example of that. Or if you're, you're going out to a holiday party with work or whatever, and you want something festive, but you're not like a big over the top Christmassy person, this is a great earring that you can still be festive, but you're not like over the top in your face Christmas. I think they're really, really pretty. So I'm going to come and cut off the excess wire. Trimming that off. Okay. And you just want to tuck in if you got any wire sticking out, right? Make sure that everything is lined up nice and neat. And then we're just going to add our ear wire to it. It's so easy. So easy. But really, it's all about the beads, right? All about the beauty of these beads. And you're done. They're super lightweight and just really, really pretty, right? And you can dress them up or dress them down because they've got that gold in them. So festive. Love them. All right. So I'm going to sit those to the side. Now, remember, I always try all these things on once we get to the end of our show. All right. So the next pair of earrings are little Christmas trees. Our next two designs are definitely Christmas inspired. So we've got red and green in the house. But this is our wire Christmas tree earring set, or kit rather. Okay. I'm going to show you how to do these super quick. You get all the stuff that you need to put these cute little wire Christmas trees together. Okay. So got your piece of wire and all your little beads. We're going to make ourselves a little spiral. Everybody's spirals are going to be different, which I love. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to, I meant to grab an eye pin instead of a head pin. That's all right. I'll improvise with what I've got here. First thing we're going to do is we are going to thread our beads onto an eye pin. Just had to make one really, really quickly. In the kit, you get your eye pins and head pins, but for whatever reason, I picked up the wrong thing. Okay, so now we're going to stack our beads onto this, and then we're just going to sit this over to the side. But I want you to see these instead of stacking them after we make our wire. So we're going to thread on one of these beautiful rondelles, another one of those rondelles, okay, and then a smaller rondelle. Now you'll still have a small rondelle and a bicomb, but just know that these are the ones that are going to go in the core of our spiral tree. So I'm going to sit these down, okay, so those are ready to go. Now we're going to take our wire and we're going to make that spiral Christmas tree. So we're going to take all of this wire and straighten it out because it had to be put in a round to fit in your packaging. Okay, so to get started with your spiral, the first thing I like to do is use my chain nose pliers. I know a lot of people want to grab their round nose pliers to get this started, but if you'll use your chain nose pliers at first, trust me, it'll be worth it. So I take the very tip of my wire and the tip of my chain nose pliers, and I turn like a little hook, right, in the wire. And then I like to come in with my cutter tool and trim off part of that hook because the hangover of the hook is just a little bit too long. So I'll come in and kind of snip that off. Now I have what looks more like a little candy cane. Okay. Now I'm going to grab that candy cane in my chain nose pliers and I'm going to start bending the wire by opening and closing the jaws of the pliers, right? And bending the wire at the same time. So close, bend the wire, open, reposition, close, bend the wire. See what I'm saying? So bending the wire, open, close, bend the wire, open, close, bend the wire. So every time I'm doing that, I'm kind of repositioning my spiral that we're creating in the jaw of the pliers. Now, if you want to switch over to your nylon jaw pliers, you can, and that will keep you from marking up the wire. You won't get any plier marks on the wire. But because we are going to turn this into a tree, you really don't see them. So I don't worry about it too much. But you're just going to keep going, opening and closing your pliers and kind of repositioning your spiral inside, right? Guiding that wire. Look how good that spiral is looking. I don't always make perfect spirals like this, so I'm impressed with myself today. And the good thing about this is that even if your spiral is not perfect, you're still gonna get a really cool looking tree. So you can let yourself off the hook, right? You don't have to worry if your spiral is more of like an oval and not particularly round. It's all okay. All right, so just keep going. Okay, you want to work that spiral up until you've got a spiral that is, I'm going to say, let's grab our ruler. I'm going to say about an inch, or I'm sorry, a ½ inch, maybe a little bit over a ½ inch. So we're right at a ½ inch. After you make a spiral that is bigger than a ½ of an inch, it starts to get a little wonky on you, because it's just a little bit more complicated to get the wire to behave. So once you start feeling that way, it's a good time to kind of stop if you want to gauge it that way, right? Just based on how weird the wire on those outer rounds becomes. Okay, so I'm going to come in with my cutter tool. I'm going to trim off, but I'm going to leave myself a little bit of room here because we're going to make a little loop. So when I trim off between the edge of my spiral and the cutter tool, the amount of space here is about a 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. You've got some extra wire you can use for whatever you want to use or do with it. And then I'm going to take my my round nose pliers and I'm going to grab the tail of that wire and I'm just going to turn a little loop. Now, why do I do that? The reason that I do that is because that is going to finish off that end of the wire, because once you create your tree shape, let me show you. You've just got this is where that loop will end up being. You'll just have a straight piece of wire, right? And it's just hanging there. If you don't finish it off with a loop, you risk it getting caught in your hair, getting twisted around on your clothing, all kinds of bad things that can happen, and it can pull your Christmas tree shape out, and you don't want that. So I definitely recommend putting a loop on the end of that. All right, now this next step is completely optional. You don't have to do this. It's not necessary, but you can take your spiral and put it on your block and work harden it just a little bit. And the reason that you want to do this, if you want to do it, is it just, once you turn this into a tree, it's just going to be a little bit harder wire, and it will hold its shape a little better. Nicole said there's a question, could you use the cone-tastic for this if you have it? Yes, absolutely. And the cone-tastic is my favorite way to make Christmas trees, but assuming that not everybody has the cone-tastic, I wanted to be sure that everybody could make a tree. So just work hardening it just a little bit. Now, again, you don't have to do that step at all, but it does kind of help to hold that Christmas tree shape. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to turn it into a tree. You can use your chain nose pliers for this, or you can use your round nose pliers for this. It makes no difference. But I want to take my pliers and put them in the center, and then I'm going to start to push the wires apart. Okay, now I'm just getting it started with my pliers. The rest of this I want to do with my fingers. Okay, because I really want this to look, I don't want to just leave it up to the tool, right? I want this to look the way I want it to look. So I'm going to separate it out with my fingers the way I want. All the trees are going to look different. The spacing between your spirals, all of that's going to look different. You can bring your tool in, your pliers in, to help if you want to, but go slow, right? Guide it into the shape that you want it to be. I love that. Right. And mine's not perfect because trees are not perfect. You're not going to get a perfectly spiraled around tree. The spacing in between them is different. You can see this one has a small space, but there's a wider space here. I love all of that, right? It gives it personality. So, whoops. There is our tree. Now, again, this loop, I do want to come in with my tool and kind of push it towards the inside. That's going to keep it really from getting caught on anything. And if it does, it's just a loop. It's not going to pull your clothing or anything like that. So it's in there and out of the way. Okay. All right. So now we're ready to put this all together. So we're going to take our eye pin with our bead stack, right? We're going to thread our cone right on. And then I'm going to take my other little faceted bead just to top it off. Now you can switch that out in your own stash. If you've got like a yellow bicone or a clear AB bicone and you want to like make it a little star for the top of your tree, you can. I'm just going to use this little faceted. Hey, that's enough. Sorry guys, the mail person is coming through the neighborhood and they can hear her truck. All right, so now I'm going to do a wrapped loop. You can do a simple loop here if you want to, but I'm going to do a wrapped loop. So I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers, going up and over, rotate, take the wire over to the other side, and then I'm going to wire wrap. I know we have over 300 people here on Facebook today. It's awesome. I love it. I love it when our community grows. And I cannot wait to see how much more we grow in 2022. It's going to be wonderful. All right. So I'm using my pliers to kind of help this wire wrapping around. For one thing, this eye pin that I'm using was a little stiff. You can always just come in and use your tools for that, right? And that'll save your fingertips. All right, so I made my wrapped loop. There's a little bit of wire sticking out right there. I'm going to come in with my cutter and trim off what I can. And then anything that's left over, of course, I can come in and just kind of tuck it in with my pliers. All right, so now we've got the Christmas tree ready to rock and roll. And once you've got it onto the eye pin, now you really can kind of straighten it up. You can still adjust it and make it the shape that you want it to. Mine looks pretty good. I'm happy with that, right? But you'll notice one thing. You'll notice how it's kind of wibbly wobbly inside there. It's not going to be once you put it on an ear wire and you wear it, because gravity is, of course, going to help make this hang the way you want it to. But to add just a little extra to that, we need to put just a little weight on the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a red bicone. We're going to thread that on to a head pin, and we're just going to do a simple loop. Now, if you want to do a wraps loop, you can, but I'm just going to do a simple loop. So I'm just bending that wire right where it is exiting the bead. I'm going to come in with my cutter tool. I'm going to trim off and leave myself about 1/4 of an inch of wire. Okay. And then I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers. We have 120 on YouTube. That's amazing. All right. And I'm going to roll back towards the beads or towards the bead in my hand to close up our loop. Okay. But now I want to come in with my chain nose pliers, and I'm going to open that loop. I'm just going to walk it open, right? Don't pull it apart. Just twist it to open it. Thread it onto the loop on the bottom of your beads and then close it back. That's going to help keep that nice shape. And the only thing we have left to do here is add our ear wires. Okay, I got to tell you, I know some people celebrate Hanukkah. Some people don't celebrate Christmas. Some people celebrate other things. I am obsessed with Christmas trees and I love Christmas. So if I am overly joyous, it's because I love Christmas and I love Christmas jewelry. It's kitschy. It's cute. I love it. My favorite Christmas earrings to wear are a pair of flocked penguins with Santa hats on. Like, I'm all about kitschy Christmas. So yeah, you can expect over the next 2 months for me to just be a bubbling ray of Christmas sunshine, which I pretty much am anyway, but add Christmas into that. All right, there you go. So those are the little wire Christmas tree earrings. Those are so cute and they're so easy to recreate. You guys, you can get the kits and recreate them with exactly what you've got right here. Super, super cool. Love those. Okay, so I'm going to sit those to the side. And we've got one more pair of earrings. Now, this one does have a little bit more technique to it, but it's not hard, okay? I feel like a lot of times the kits that I put in the shop that have technique don't sell nearly as well. And it's because I think people are afraid of the technique, but I want you to know this one's an easy one. It might not look it, but it is an easy one. So these are half wreath earrings, right? It's not a full wreath. It's just a half wreath. However, if you wanted to take this kit and instead of making earrings, you wanted to make a pendant with the beads, you could do a full wreath. I'll have to show you after we make ours, because you can put them together and just make an entire wreath out of it instead of a half wreath for earrings. So I'm going to show you how to do this. Okay. It's the green bicones and the red bicones. It looks like holly, right? We're going to put these together real quick. So in your kit, you get all the bicones and the wire and the little pre-cut pieces of chain. So you've got everything you need to put this together. Okay. All right. So we're going to take our wire, and this is very thin wire. We're going to unravel it here. Okay. Now I'm going to take 5 of the green bicones. Okay. Now this is not hard, so don't let this keep you from getting this kit if you really like the way this looks, because I promise you can recreate this. So we've got 5 green bicones. So I'm going to thread on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pam says, any ideas for those who celebrate Hanukkah? Yeah, I've got Hanukkah jewelry coming up. I've got winter jewelry coming up. Not in today's show, but yes, I've got stuff for all of that coming up. So we're just getting started with the holidays here, you guys. It's gonna be a fun one. I just didn't want to like give you too much all at once. All right, so I have 5 bicones, and I have brought them down to the middle of my wire. Okay, so I've got this long piece of wire. I brought them to the middle. The 5th bead, I actually want to take my wire and I want to crisscross my wires within that 5th bead. So in other words, we're going to cross our wires, one going one direction, one going in the other direction in that 5th bead. And then when you pull down, we want to make sure that we're as centered in the wire as we possibly can. So we've made ourselves a little flower out of our bicones. Okay. All right. Now we're going to take the bottom wire, because I'm going to hold this like this. Okay. I'm going to hold it so that my wire, one's a top wire and one's a bottom wire. I'm going to take my bottom wire and I'm going to thread on 2 bicones, 2 of the green bicones. Okay. So 1, 2, drop those down. I'm going to take my top wire and I'm only going to thread on 1 bicone. Okay. Now I'm going to take a 5th or another, I'm sorry, it'll be a 4th bicone, but it will make a 5. I'll show you. So I'm going to thread on my last bicone, and it doesn't matter which wire you thread it onto. And then again, cross your wires in that one and bring it down. So let me show you. So the next little flower that you make is made up of 5 beads. You only thread on 4, but the reason it's made up of 5 beads is because we're sharing a bead with the previous flower, right? Okay, so we're going to do it again. I'm going to take the bottom wire. I'm going to pick up 2 bicones, drop those down. The top wire only gets 1 bicone. Drop it down. Okay. Then I'm going to take both wires and cross them between a bicone. So thread that on, take the other wire and thread it in the other direction, right? Just like that. And pull. Hush, hush, hush. Boys, that's enough. Okay. And you can see it starting to make that curve. That happens, the curve happens instead of a straight line because we're doing 2 bicones on the bottom wire and 1 on the top. So it's going to create that kind of curve shape. Okay. So again, I'm going to thread on the bottom wire 2 bicones. Whoops. Okay. Drop those down. Cooper, that's enough. The top wire, 1 bicone. Hush, my gosh. We have people, we have visitors. Be quiet. Okay, so 2 on the bottom, 1 on the top, and then we take both wires and cross them in a bicone. Pull down. All right. And we've got one more to go. We're going to make one more of the little green flowers. So we're going to do, whoops, 2 green on the bottom. Drop those down. We're going to do 1 green on the top. Okay, and then we've got our last bicone here, the last green one, and we're going to cross our wires in that one. So thread it on to one of the wires, doesn't matter which one, and then take the other wire, go through it, opposite direction. Okay, and then pull, and we have created our little half wreath shape. You can see it's got that nice curve to it, right? But now what do we do with the rest of the wire? Well, the top wire, we're actually going to leave it alone for now because we're going to use it for something else. But this, so I'm just going to hold on to everything. This bottom wire though, I'm going to take it and I'm going to thread it through the next bicone. Okay, so it is exiting this bicone on the outside edge. I'm going to take it and I'm going to thread the wire through the next bicone to it. Pull it all down. Okay. So basically you've got wire going through that bicone, this bicone 2 times. Okay. Now I'm going to take it. You can go through another bicone if you want to. I'm going to just stop, but I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to wire wrap right here. So I'm actually just going to do 2 wraps. Show you. So I'm just wrapping the wire. Whoops. Pull everything apart while I'm doing that. That's not what we want. Uh-oh, got a little kink in the wire. That's what's caused my problem here. This really thin wire sometimes is tricky to work with. So I got to be sure you're holding everything still. Okay, so I'm just going to take it. And again, I'm going to wire wrap. So I'm just taking, it might help if I trim some of this off too. Make it a little bit shorter. I'm going to wire wrap around that wire that is between 2 bicones. And I'm going to do it like, I can't seem to do it at all because I want to pull this apart. I'm going to do it 2 times. That's just going to finish off that end of the wire. And then I'm going to trim it with my pliers. Okay. That way I just know it's not going to come undone. Okay. All right. So now we're going to add our holly berries to this. And if you need to tuck in that little piece of wire, you can. Okay. All right. So the top wire that is exiting out right here, we are going to take a red bicone, thread that onto the end. Okay. And we're going to drop that right down. And then we're going to take our wire and we're going to cross it over our flower diagonally. Our green flower, right? We're crossing it over diagonally. We're going to take the wire and we're going to wrap around the back and back over to the front. So let me show you. Basically, we've just taken the wire, okay, put a bicone, cross around and come back to the front. So we've just wrapped it around the back and come back out the front. There's nothing really hard there. Okay. I know that that's seems hard, but I promise it's not. I promise it's not. So we're going to drop another bicone down. It's going to sit right in the middle of our flower. We're going to wrap the wire around the back and then back out the front. And we're kind of wrapping it at an angle so that it is already ready to add another bead to. And that bead is just going to lay right in the center of our green bicones, right? Just wrap between and back around. So you can see how the wire is wrapping across the back, right? And that's what's holding those little berries in place. So for, hush, hush, hush. For each one, just add a bicone to the center. Okay. And then around and back. Now, we've got to secure this wire, right? You can see all the wires coming across the back. We've got to secure this one. So I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did on the other end. I am going to trim off a little bit of this so that I'm not using such a long piece. And I'm just going to wire wrap around that little wire in between 2 beads. just once or twice, right? You just want to make sure that it's nice and secure. It's not going to come undone. Use your pliers to pull tight, right? So just guiding it through and then around the back. See what I'm doing? And then when I pull, it's just pulling it down tight. 2 or 3 times is all you need. Oops. And pull. Right? And this wire is so thin that you don't ever even see any of that, right? It just disappears into the design. So now I'm going to trim those off. And that's ready to go, right? The bottom part of our earring is ready to go. Now, I said at the beginning of this project that if you wanted to take all the beads and instead of making 2 earrings out of it, you can wrap them together and create yourself an entire wreath pendant and turn it into a necklace instead of earrings. Okay. But I thought the earrings were cute. So, all right. So the last thing we need to do is we're going to take our little pieces of pre-cut chain. I measured all of them out so everybody has the right amount of chain for each side, and just some jump rings to put all this together. So we're going to take our jump rings between 2 pairs of pliers. We're going to open that up. I'm going to thread it between 2 bicones, and you do have to wiggle, right? Got to wiggle. Get it between 2 bicones, okay, on one side. Go ahead and thread the end of your chain. Albert, that's enough. Okay, thread that on and close that back. Okay, so you've got a piece of chain on one side. And we're going to do the exact same thing over here on the other side. So we're just going to take I've got bicones on the brain, another jump ring. Okay, and we are going to thread it between 2 of the bicones. And again, you got to wiggle a little bit, but there's plenty of room to get that in there. Okay, before you close it, thread on your piece of chain and then close that back. Now, the one thing I will caution is you want to be sure that you're putting your jump rings in the same space on either side so that it hangs even, right? Make sure that they're between the same beads on either side. All right, so the last thing to do is just open up this last jump ring. We're going to open it. We're going to thread on the ends of our 2 pieces of chain here. And then we're going to thread on our ear wire, and that's done. Now, if you wanted to add something extra to this, because there's plenty of room right here, right? You could put a dangle, hang it from the jump ring in between the 2 pieces of chain. You could put a charm here, a Christmas charm. You could put a flower. You could put anything you wanted to in between there, or nothing at all. Okay, thread on our ear wire, close our jump ring, and that's it. Now, I know those were took a little bit more technique than the rest of our instant gratification pieces. But I think if you'll watch this, if you're a beginner, if you watch this a couple of times, you'll see this is really, really not a difficult little wire project to put together. And you can do this with bead weaving thread and a needle if you want to. But I included the wire because I think it's cool to be able to use wire in the same way that you use your bead weaving thread and your needle. Thin wire is some really cool stuff. So hopefully I've encouraged you, if nothing else, to try out your thin wires on things like this, you know? All right, so we've got all of our earrings. We're very festive today. We have our wire Christmas trees. We have our half wreaths. We have our flowers in red and green, and we have our little angels. Don't forget about those. And then last but not least was the restock of the bracelet from last week, but this week it's in blue. So if you need to see how to put this one together, you'll have to watch the replay of last week's Feel Good Friday show. But it's basically just straightforward stringing and then just a tiny little bit of wire wrapping here just for some extra dangles, right? All right, you guys, I love it. I love earrings. So this was a fun Feel Good Friday show for me to put together for you guys. I'm going to turn you guys around and we're going to try on all of these earrings because they look so much better on than they do hanging or laying flat. So let me get you turned around. Okay. All right. Do you use the base metal jump rings? Would it be worth the cost of using sterling? So I always use base metal jump rings unless I am building an entire piece out of sterling silver, which I very rarely do. Part of the reason that I don't do that on a regular basis is number one, because it's very costly, but number two, because silver wire and findings have come a very long way in the past 20 years. And a lot of the wires in particular, and the wires that, of course, are turned into jump rings have a really nice coating on them. So they last so much longer than they used to. So I don't really bother with sterling silver very much unless I'm just making a really, really special piece. I find that base metal lasts and doesn't turn for a really long time. And if you have a polishing cloth, you can polish it up real quick. So if it does start to like kind of get dull on you, you can polish it up. I really just I don't think it's worth the money, just being honest. So, all right, I'm going to try on these earrings for you guys, straighten you up just a little bit here, show you. So we'll start out with our angels because they're just so darn cute, right? There are angels. Aren't they cute? So they're not really big, right? But they don't have to be. They make their own little statement. They're just super cute. They're festive. They're fun. And you can wear an angel all year. You don't just have to stick to the holidays for an angel, right? That's part of the reason I went with pink. Because they could also be a cherub for Valentine's Day. All right. The next earrings that we had were these. I love these. These are so fun. They're so fun. So our red and green. You see. I was like, how do you see my I love clown? It's actually a sticker. It's supposed to go in my car, but I don't want to creep people out. I do love clowns though. So there are our green and red. Again, just, if you want to be holiday-y, but not over the top, these are great. Right? They're great. And you can wear these all through. Like I'd start wearing these right now because they're fall colors as well as Christmas colors, right? All right, next is our wire Christmas trees. These are so fun. You guys, you can make these really big and put them on your Christmas tree. Or if you're like making a wreath, if you do your own wreaths, I know a lot of people don't do that anymore, but when I was a kid, people made all of their wreaths that they hung outside on their front door, and they used like evergreen trees to do that. You could make not little, but you can make some big Christmas trees to put on your wreaths out of larger gauged wire. Super fun. Those are cute. Super cute. And then last but not least are our little, aren't those fun? Okay, now if these are too long for you, because I know there's some people out there that are going to groan and they're going to be like, those are too long. You can cut the chain, right? You don't have to make these super long if you don't want to. Cut the chain up, make them shorter. Those are so fun. They're very sparkly, very pretty, most definitely green and red, right? But yeah, if you want to add some sparkle to your holiday wardrobe, that's these. And of course you don't have to do the earrings. You can make a pendant, which is cool. So there you go. Lorena says aluminum wire. Yeah, if you wanted to make some for just like decorations, aluminum wire is definitely the way I would go, particularly because you're going to have to use like thicker gauge. But yeah, aluminum wire would be perfect for Christmas trees if you wanted to use them as decorations. So here's our bracelet just from another angle, so you can really kind of see the colors in this light instead of my bead matte light. So pretty. And then there was this little specialty lampwork bead and that specialty lampwork bead. Guys, go check out Danielle Wick's shop. She has amazing beads and she's just an amazing person. So definitely go give her some love and tell her I sent you. All right, my friends, that is it for our Feel Good Friday show today. I hope I have inspired you to create some easy instant gratification jewelry over your weekend. That's why we do Feel Good Fridays, so you're not bogged down with tons of technique. You can go into your weekend, and if you want to play and make jewelry, then go for it, but don't stress out on the weekends. Don't hurt your brain with all of the techniques. Keep it simple and enjoy the fun of making jewelry, right? Don't forget to go and grab these kits from my shop. I appreciate all of the purchases that you guys make. You guys helped me and Nile sell out the holiday bracelet kits. That was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for that. And thanks for joining us for our special live last night. It was awesome. It was so much fun to be with him. So, yeah. that's it. You guys have a wonderful rest of your Friday. I will see the Hardwired group at 4:30 this afternoon Eastern time. The rest of you, I've got my Michael's class tomorrow at 1 p.m. And if not, if I don't see you there, I will see you next week with another fun project for you guys on Tuesday. I love you guys. Have a great weekend. Bye.